levy 1.5
top radio back correct
Emma mo NDC for in opposition mo ye dede kan say nkalis omonye consultations Emma ye na ye hu baabi na ye na ye mfa ya no kosi baabi ba ko na nka ye ntimi ye de ye hwe na ye nte so you people didn't hwe mo hwe de mo de ye MPP for mo hwe de mo de ye MPP for mo for so ya makenofori atasha ase ko the whole Ghana ekoye town hall meeting actually reason till we need e-levy. Na say MPP for anka say e-levy no mo ba beji 7 preduasa e de akohwe omo guess o na omo je e de aye oman ni ye eye to bi a e-levy no na omo je e de aye oman ni ye mantin ba bia da say MPP for ka say ye de e-levy ba ye beji e-levy e de akohwe ye guess ana say ye ji e-levy de agu ye botom omo anka sada omo anka sada still mo no mo anya adwen mo twe krofo ya mo kote so
top radio back correct
ono kro mo ye town hall meetings e kire mo reason to mo hia e-levy e ma some section of Ghanaians egitu mu ene de ba ne sen mo di bo mo achi from A to Z kopin so mo ko opposition yen kan okra mo ba ya mo se mo yi betting tax from me ntwa bet o it is okay yi betting tax free ho a 7 preduasa de wa ye ne affect me emwa me ena me busuani bia ne ho twa bet ba mo yes akra ne ye bo mo ba so ena bet no kra no enye de bia na obidi this anipa na di ansa kra na why de what no it is oba na be yi betting tax free ho na ye bo wa ba so a wo sheda nya hwe saa o but it's because MPP for anyenti no na ye say mamo da praise no mamo who say at least mobile na adwen pakaka o mutim ena e-levy no so mo be yi fi ho no e-levy no say one ko send this car
top radio back correct
one ko send this car e-levy ne affect wo ena minimum crofobia they don't even send money e-levy ne affect omo eso no kra mo de ye campaign etia MPP amanyoku no na wo fu wo na wo de akwakoto so no say no be man na baabia because ono no be pass the ama your friends ne passengers ne so be pass the ama nkrofo na consumers no eti be kan ba be kan ye nyina eti we no mo robi Peter e dia pay Paul anase na mo ye ne den don't think you are smart and we will talk about these things the fact that ye praise mu no ma ba kun bi and awu sem cry wo mu ni say mo ka che say mo de dollar about set 11 cedis so say mo ate so eti na mo ate fu wo kakra so nti say ye ncha mo 1 cedi na fi say dollar na ye pese engineer sa 14 won and this MPP for ni DJ na ka ye tu omo ana eti mo nya ye good bia o the dollar it is your responsibility so be my dollar aba from it is your responsibility that is why we pay you guys. And you don't praise yourself as if so $1 aba from. Ye betra na say yeso so mo se na ye gege mo so na mo sha say mo be kasa ama na be ye hia ye betra mo say 7 preduasa. This is not what we want. What the dollar aba from mean so what? Aye what dey tell you tuoka? Why are you president? Why are you finance minister? Dey tell you tuoka. So say ye wa policies kra na what mama dollar aba from what? Say ye policies and let mama ama dollar aba from what? Do you have to come and tell me say me the dollar about for Mintino? Say my introduce you another tax be among fanisa. What do you mean? Why are you telling us that? Why from this? Nana ye percent dollar ninja 14 cedis anka yama Dr. Bawumia aso. If indeed ye percent dollar ninja 14 cedis wana anka yama Dr. Bawumia aso. And you people will come and I love this lady so much. Is it Shamima Muslim? Shamima, no clear wom say you don't buy food. Mo wana mo budget mo and mo file fuel e we your friend say castle who took up and now drive a file ba when you're going to Kumasi you don't buy fuel. It is okay say you're ready to pay that 1 cedi now. Yes,
I'm a prat now can because he prat ban so I can be
can you imagine?
I say she's prepared to pay. But
can you imagine?
We are spokesperson for the vice president. Can you imagine?
If you are not prepared to pay, do we care? If you are not prepared to pay,
it's all say. Abani will say, I don't know. Anything now. omo dey call under certificate of agency omo passing na adwono because now abani per say e be debate because we be akro nobody expected it in terms of them dey call na
anya ye central for ya na ye ti say bibi ko so
say the parliament say no finance minister call parliament
e ti ko aba mamu munya majority ni say na for the parliament e ya na mo
say
na makopa
say we ti abontia obeka say guna na EDF but abani so we say okuku we say e hwedin this is so
there's hypocrisy wo krom hare so in the media young people but let's be real now the time your friends or MPP introduce E11 no that time na o mine na o mo to heaven
there be no mo to heaven
na o mo the E11 ko hwe o mo guess
there be no mo fan ko hwe mo guess
na yenim so man mu ade na etu so na we nim so man mu ade na mo ka say yem fa mo
so Owusu abana tani say isi ano goodwill ho isi amanfo
why is a goodwill
amanfo
na ye kan
good oh say
dollar coming down
ma bu aba for
tie de o mo kotena ho
so o mo me ho toye and the no o mo me ho toye engineer mom ye to abama o mampani Mahama and the finance minister to forcing and the technical advisor say tepe and the deputy finance minister or so German MP so mo me ho toye but abana we say o ko du no we say energy sector no finance minister say ka ho kwa 5.7 billion Ghana cedis.
So if you can tell MPP for them to do consultation and then they see ho kwan
so no mo
then they see ho kwan we dey nipa chen mo
is no they have the members in parliament he has the numbers in parliament.
But you don't care about Ghanaians.
Hey, the fact.
If you have the numbers, I mean, you say you don't care about.
Oh yes, but sometimes remember we are strategic. And yes, we so but that's how see the government.
Me the say. The ye na no na enye. And now we are.
I don't see no correct. In the sense that among Vaka say omankofo omampani kofo time dey to recovery level by.
To recovery 2023. How many years now? What we say here Juma? What we say here Juma?
Omampani akufa do by 8 years to answer that Juma papa da.
Me hwe.
And so I mu na e rather come time omo jana ya adwuma o e rather ko na to ne boss no so no MD for the two companies and ko na mampani Mahama e ka so e kan pro ka say obakro be point MD for the two companies baba so appointing different MDs which is another case but to ni echi na anya adwuma na via the excellence so buy be gije sa levy bonds is ka say agia is so say be man energy sector no dey tuam ka no ni e dey divert ko baby eche almost had another one water water for mechanism by and ko mu scanner ECG be for say am dey say ko bitco am dey say go VR na go be yan dey so that ka bia na ba bia and so no anya adwam ko ECG for scanner na scanner mu na ko no mu ka say am say don na back say ECG for accounts be 88 accounts na so closing na ka ba ko it is amount for can say ya say dey kente ko nsuo say yan fa chance yan ko mi de kente ko ni kente di ko so say unya bi
eno no me fa hu
so
the metro
no the make can say some be solve am be check out
we are ready to help them to solve the problem
but the problem is how
me say o buy and what in the dollar ba 1.90 watch your 3 cedi so say wo je one it
doesn't make sense but that's make sense but so at force finance minister say you have no the abano e ma no ma bo nkosoro because he and transport fee they have done all the stimulation calculations you know into the entry kakra and I'm sure say GPR to be say 1 to 2 drivers also my projection say dollar be stable because dollar from kakra ka ho into yam yakoma nto yefom abana ba foforo only 6 months this is the time we take some of the harder decisions we take he has the members in parliament it is all fast we take the decisions and yes our okay so you know ma say e cash 5.7 billion Ghana cedis that emergency said debt one no we hear scale the chia that's what you say we have 3.7 billion just you think kakran to use the time edin there but abana say because say oma calculate fast and come share budget any budget ni mu enti am calculate mo say yeah mistake ya anya eno ma be say so we dey only say that take or pay contract am how much time since be begin so buy not in your prayer we dey am say contract we have mem we buy am for so budget say leakages no so doso ECG we buy 2 years come into our brother because meters so does meters be bre anya adwuma abandi aba na of contract obi adi meter ba meter bia different be one say you say minute na efie bi mu be 2 years meter no nkoto ade na emfa nti amon for so light ni free nti si antake ni post na Owusu ye budget tax be obi say John Jinapo ni ayato forcing omomo ni abre because can we ndie
no
omo good way no
as for ato forcing mini ni problem
so no so figures no
ti mini problem bia ato forcing
and na no problem
omo a
JJ
mini JJ sukra
mini JJ ni problem JJ John Jinapo that is any again for fu Papa J you there I wish Papa J can do for go bubum I wish they should let
top radio back
on your communication.
Okay.
What they say? That man on no kasa wote no mabiase. What they say? But
maybe that can I say? They are buying by his spokesperson no more can see you are prepared. And I was
yes.
I think it's annoying. They should admit say we are in a situation. This are your banner here.
What him lawyer way? Ediju Tamakula.
Yeah. Yes.
What does
now in Facebook our person you difficult decision
yes until no ko read their wakana
and bet you because you say
but if you come and tell me say you are about 360 you are ready to pay meanwhile you don't buy fuel
and me there I make you say yes because you levy said they made John Kwam kan IMF net yanko china yakọ town hall ko do pon kroma mo ko tamale ko ba bi ase ye ko na you be solve problem na e be create 1 million jobs e be say e ba na engineer
ya pressure mu di si o mo ko town hall
because can send live television mu travel and
ask these people and ko na ye 1.5 and o mo dey na ka dem ma 50% say yes who dey
to go see parliament to go see parliament
e-levy because and then ya to abama mo doso
no
this is
because there was no agency about this bill. There was no agency in case of Ghana for getting a church like Baba will say no or good one to
good one no when that be 6 months into the administration.
Yes,
and I've been telling you after 1 year it will hit them.
That's why they are doing the hard things now.
They are your friends. We know what some of their guys are doing now.
Oh, na say you kwaka Mugabe Masi. We
know what they are doing now.
Yes, Mugabe say omo cooperate to London, omo dey ma cooperate to London.
They are young guys. A lot of them and we feel so okay challenge
about mistake and
you say Akufo don kokrafo allow the young guys to
make mistakes small they learn on the job.
They are doing normal bia when we start talking and not speaking out it will hurt them and we don't want to go that way, so we are begging them omokasa they should be very careful. Sabin producer me NDC by no be ama me 1 cedi da. The media guys they are paying them obi ama me 1 cedi da. I'm telling you obi ama me 1 cedi da. Me sure obi and the guys na ye no mo na say na I don't even expect say no share me kra no so Owusu bibi say you there be you because ye no mo na na position but do the right thing. Let us support you. More grassroots for why come do omo NDC you guys na come there omo pa eti mo show omo me nka se behwe me mo hwe mo na obi anyo okay at least omo na mo to abama mo enu na me kan asem bi me dru fie na mpanifo bi frem say oh masema me kan de na year bat na no hye am bi say omo se makoka say ku Muhammad Timiye
top radio back correct
okay kumasi de na market for na ntoma omo market na NDC for na NDC
for man they should give them first we say and say omo aye omo say yes because say wo ba betna so 8 years
no ntumi anya
omo do ba ye wo hu omo so mfa so anko si second phase omo bi the 4 years is second phase let's be real NPP NDC executives am wo America kire mo say mutin we phase 2 na NDC market women no mo ho no they should be the first
they should be priority.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good suggestion. They should be given priority. Next,
they should serve them first.
Yes. But also the all committee has say in this era, CBA social media ba see Ghana for any ateno. Say about the policy be ba. Now we defend here. You should know how much you are kasa. even though it might not be tangible say Ghana ni baby I bet you tax no but okasa I bet you say nipa no aban nipa no bi ni ho na men ka say I'm prepared to pay and okasa na I mean say win hwande a I say o no abet so too much they should know say that okano they should deploy the best of their people
me
for mu kasa yi
when so do castle wako castle
makwada
udu castle before be remain she left wo that's the full filling station na wo ho me am young guys ti hwe ma men kan chiro mo so drivers ni team je ebinim ka akra na mo abo ahwo no akofile no de aba udu hwa nti se bia nipa no be kokumase na otin ko file bia ma na o de abesi no ho wo ba kra wo misa sefu wo ka no ana se bia o ka se wo be fro so ko file aba eti wo no when we are talking about fuel price no so be ka bimpa e ya chopa
yes
any explanation for us to understand it. Don't just come and tell me say you are ready to pay. It's a taxi driver here so on kromo na who taxi driver ni boat to be alusu ni fifre tena na
one gallon bi
who him say drivers bi ho omuntimi nto enye full gallon po omuntimi nto ba bi ti say Shell Total and Goil oh yeah we
yeah
and kiti and 1 gallon for nipa no koya wasan the 1 cedi so aton so one fan to 1 gallon so o dey ato 1 liter
so in this case a dollar gallon be 4.5 Ghana
4.5 check we say 1000 Ghana you say
but me I know say 80 Ghana cedis
84 Ghana cedis 1000 Ghana na na say we go send the 11,000 Ghana out here say
10 cedis
yes
then I'm about me say but let's say we dey 8 times so we 8 times higher
than easy for your pem was man ka we ye the way ye the end this
everything na because I know
ese ke di mutwa ni
good no ho nti ye hwe mo nim say but say that communication should be out is o communication ko yi because ya betini me mas make sure and the won twa bi nti no I think say aban no atofo se ne nkofo no omo nyam adwuma ni yi
say ene me ba say me say that sample
top radio back correct
yes me nto me buntu dey meto
na se tobo haya
o se untimi ka politician
o se tobo say
minim dey maka producer maka dey yanka na dey tim
oh dey be send there
you wait match me ana editor
yeah
I was no me kan say nka me ne kana Japan nua ba no e wo 1-on-1
yeah
but then no na me ye ne chena
okay
and nay me ne Farouk Al-Wahab
the international relations
yes my friend a man of many paths
yeah you very good
yeah
very good
it's me ne but o mafia me oh aha into the wa mafia me kakra
so on there nti o ma mai de ekoso Burkina Faso ne
me ye be hwe ho kakra
say o Sahel ne no me bo ho ye no me bo ho no nti no bibia si a say no ma ko so Burkina Faso be biri ya
komo bia me ne
okay
he's the only person or hwe say aban we be win the first time na at least Ghana yenya airline
okay
yeah but and then me fifra no because of our mafia me
it's good
it me so punishment ka kra metim dia man na no say me fifra no
it's good it's what say o man peniko for buy na Agyemang Ghana International Airlines buy na me twitwi private public partnership twitwi Sami crap ya na kofa buy
yeah Sami
no mo kofa Ghana International Airlines o buy o mo partnership na jigu na no ano intino I think say national airline dey ba very good because Africa am say one airline obi are respecting it me give me a sense of pride Ethiopian Airlines because one airline omo ye globally acclaim omo am some member of Star Alliance also omo ko ba bia and hwe boy ne Airbus place omo toto na so Ghana at a time ye push ye say ye be a creative style fan say the dirty G8 December GH ebe nyina no ye nyina airlines ebe nyina no ye airline kan ho amam for the enkwan na nti good say appliance so you push see be national airline I think
Faruku push ye no
say blaster experience we man mo dey all year round carnival ebe ye the regions nyina no Ghana for say December GH say no Ghana for two kwan no for bisa because North America for black Americans nyina ni UK for nyina December bi aba Ghana
aduma me dey share nsa no
I think say it's good I think it's good because also there's video be across on social media as well who guy be o ka say ya wufu play na komo de no makomo aduane bi ese amampani ye ade so we say video na joke say nkai ye me banku bi ne because
ya de
no say be
ana ye nya kokoko
yeah of we ni play na so o ma banku ne bi o ma o aduane ni bi
ene say wo kokuma se a passion ye 1,800 and something.
Dollar na base of money back from because
now you sure say back from.
It's a back from.
It's a back from.
I think say national
now to know call be close to 3,000.
National career they are very important. National career they are very important. You know. Say in adwuma o dey actually say dia. Top. Those of you know na beka because am for so African Airways. Say na your pride of Ghana. Na Ghana Airways call you know. And say airline.
Passion. O kwa in pen 1,875. It's a in and out to be mouse. What I say? Now can you be international one? It is a no crana. The Moka say a premper what they say. A year international. Cars is a plane for busy. And the children will play back could be 2 names. It's when and not your friend is saying a Opo my can rase se wo koya ya makumase ka koya kejetia phase 2 na se kejetia phase 2 and international airport what dey na be choose what I say at times eti mama na wase okay na wase Brian say afei dey ono so uchire and ba wini video bi o kan pidgin English bi na say Kwabena ni abire me bon person crofo na omo wona chi no omo manage ni ye at times so ye omo me say me say o ye madam for me advice so on fa okay no manage okay Farouk manage am I always interested? Three horses are interested. Yeah. So no. It's just say Alan come for the match. Was a baby head wa ha. Yeah. Dia could be animal. And also committee no more 1 month. Omo kohwehwe na omo aba na ye Ghana for nkamu. I mean he's also they agree can security no the pidgin dem na interested you know yeah always winning okay the managers in say me da say me oh say me ko dem am ko na Farouk live on top 103.1 final point is winning. My name is Kwabena Owusu Agyemang, the governor. 54 minutes after 7 and like I told you, sit back, relax, enjoy the show with Farouk Al-Wahab. Or you brutal man of many parts. Ubinyane na wa bre. Abeni de. Rapa ina kwaba.
Ayo.
Let's say.
Cool.
Who you fe?
So my fe.
Oh yeah sure.
Papa.
There we say me fear do say wo de na na buti ka say me hwan.
Top radio back correct.
You brutal.
Oh sir.
Abaye, oh yeah nice man yo.
Sir.
Hey. And before we miss our secret but oh yeah nice man pa. But they no idea meeting no. And I me kasa kire me yi say more heat kakra ma 2 years there na me so me parachute through my heat.
No it's okay.
And the fache me. Mpacho apom abusia for
inshallah.
Ghana to say
inshallah.
We're down for a Burkina Faso president what to say.
Obia mu
Ekoyi.
He's doing well.
He's doing well.
Yep.
Obi ka kire me say ono na Mahama isuani na Mahama suana no ma bekoyi pa. Ampa. The guy is really doing well.
Yes, but the secret is the citizens that he's working with, not his policies.
Oh, okay. Only krumu mano.
In the world, there are only 2 citizens that you can do what you're doing: selflessness, dedication, and seriousness, and loyalty. You can only get that one in Mosi people, the Mosi tribe.
Mosi.
The Burkinabes. It's not like maybe he's doing something extraordinary. No. He's a young, vibrant guy, very energetic, and he has the vision. But then having said that, you can have all visions, yes, you can all have dreams that you have in this world. There's one thing that you have to do is the people at the receiving end. Are you getting me? The people at the receiving end, and you call it the citizenry collaborators. They are the people to support the agenda I was set forth, and that agenda, no, you can have it. Ghana, to me, it is very difficult for any leader, president, to succeed to the maximum to set the open because the citizen are the Ghanaian. You can't have them. Apart from being lazy, they are extremely corrupt. They are thieves. They do all manner of things.
Ghana for.
Yes, Ghana, that is the nature. I mean, please, you know me. Let us not hide under any table and then sit under the table and be singing hymnals. So everything is fine. There is a country, people are very bad, wicked. People do not care.
Ghana for we are bad, wicked.
Yeah, but we are wicked.
Care.
We don't care. Ghana do not care whatever they're doing to any other. I'm talking about governance. We're talking about administration in all sectors. You can talk of politicians. What about the woman selling on the market? Timiko fa color at the red oil tone. It is a politician that's in the office, or a minister not in the office, no US car. Then that is the one that physically, naturally, everybody knows how to talk about it. What about our tongue? Other multi-product and a Ghanaian woman does not care what she misses so far as the Obenya volumes. What about Obia or no Tony Ade? Na your friend saying either the basket no I shoot to why hit it to another man not the contents in the room as you expect to it's just more. All these things is not just only the politician, the whole Ghana. Talk of an artisan who is an electrician, talk of an artisan who is, let's say, how do we call it, or a plumber, electrician, no juma, no overestimate, no say we are part electrical wires account. Talk about the tiler who is also stealing you. Talk about your mason who is stealing your cement. What is the difference? So it is a matter of the gravity of it that you can differentiate, the bulky of it that you can differentiate. But you look at the greater and the general, the larger, we are all very bad people. So Burkinabes are not like that. Much as they are not angels, much as they are even Vatican doing some. But the reality of the matter is that the Burkinabes have really loyally given their weight behind the guy and helping the guy to succeed. It's just about that. And it be extraordinary. And the citizens know do Agyemang. And you can get that in only two citizens of the world, Chinese and Burkinabe. No others, not the Americans, not the British, not the Germans, not. Yes, Germans have that kind of love, passion, loyalty for their country. But that of Burkina, the zeal, the energy, Burkinabe can work 16 hours and if you earn $2, they appreciate it. But the Ghanaian wants to work for five minutes and earn more than. So we are thieves.
Why we can say administrations be with different personalities? At what point and I'll be to make say, oh, Ghana for I say the Ghanaians are anymore mono or more real behavior change. The time corrupts in the shall say boom a free top ABC down. Yes, sign yeah baby has say at what point which administration and they introduce you sadem Agyemang so and which administration so na share yanka no more your best to say on best was no money na.
Well, we can talk of administration but to say a champion. IK champion. He certainly tried and he would have done well if not Palace Crew through his own friend. The second hand man, the right hand man or yes, FWK Akufo. A champion, in my view, was not a bad president or head of state, let me put it. He would have done well. Now, Jerry Rawlings started well.
Champion came before Jerry Rawlings.
Oh, champion came before Akufo came before Rawlings.
So. And yeah, the same champion. Yeah, they be ready. Yeah, better.
I know what you are coming to talk. It was all cock and bull stories.
So it wasn't true.
They know it was not true. If you call politicians of today, at that time, it was a matter that they didn't just want a military regime. So they just needed say Esom Tanishe discredit him. But was Jerry Rawlings also at the tail end of his government? They discredited him before power was also taken out. Internally, you can call it it was part of politics because the Gulf now was at that time. How many Gulfs was in Ghana, and how much was the price of a Gulf? as compared to today. I will be
politician more than that.
Obi to see down $4-5 million, $10 million a down Labon, and nobody ask where and how they got that wealth, that money. Of course, it belongs to human being. The people behind you realize that these are people who do not even have an income of, let's say, 20 cedis or 2,000 a month. Nevertheless, they claim to be the owners of second properties. Now they compare a golf and another for Otuba Abeji golfer. How many women and another president, one person obey in the golf and do those and and ministers. So it was not true. I mean, you see, it was just like that. If, let's say, president came and for one reason the car of the day was golf and maybe I thought car and golfer. Imagine golf 2 at that time, sir funny golf and then that is what I mean about the issue of the time. I mean, it's rather unfortunate. And it is also, I mean, presidency and as a government now we've had an attempt at good governance. What does it mean? It means that we try to initiate the baby from the get-go, but somewhere along the line they all slip off, and that is my fear. So all the presidents that we've had, the beginning, almost started very nice, but then in the midway and a halfway, you see, say no matter sluggish, and then their people takes control. And then I man about say Timude. On the crew is here, so you paradise Ghana no, and Switzerland, third, Saudi Arabia, and the Arabian Peninsula kingdoms. It is a nature of a kingdom state. And she said, the only Ghana ni baby, they will talk like the kingdom state, but nobody act. And Nipani in very well, Saudi Arabia, it will result into talking, but I give them 1 week. That is the beauty of the country.
What to say MPP for Aya Motaka say you Pobi and Kobiti my way ya na Jerry Rawlings. Odi hu bi be share mu corruption be free ho wickedness like you said Nina be free because onya kwanya e rule o my way chair and the first part na ye military rule. Enti na ono na say o inject ade bi e de ewura mu e de ehu discipline bi be ba o my way say.
Yes, the mistake that he did.
And no there
was the fact that once a revolution, it's a concept. They design a concept. They design a template. What is the mission? And to that template or concept, design here. If he has ticked the excesses of it, what does it? And then I will say it wasn't right. Killings, beatings, those excesses, human right abuse in there. Obeka said, "Na enya the right thing to do." But when we set targets and goals, and programs are almost set here. And now, onya ba government ni mu or formal government na, we mo started the J-Body, the Katapori, the Hali Dujiwa, the what and what not, all those na Wachijam on them. If he had kept to the Oma aspirations, any omnium, I've condemned the atrocities meted out to Ghanaians or killings, etc. I condemned entirely. But so that time discipline was there. Whoever is to go to work or report, corruption was on decline. A lot of things were going, so he had a chance. What did he do? 2 years, less than 2 years. And or reinstate the civilian stroke military regime. That was his downfall. Because at that time, when there was an introduction of the likes of Totobi, the likes of Spio, the likes of Hudiaya, all those young men, the elderly person or the person who was a little bit was Mr. PV Open. Okay. And the late Atuahoy, the late DFanan. So when he brought all these ones, I'm not saying that they were not good, but I'm saying that they were coming from civilian background. and you are coming from military background. So the combination of the two, they didn't declare say it was a union government. So you realize that he went military 11 years. So how does military, that's supposed to be military, in the first 2 years it was military, then you have a mixture of civilians. So literally, you know, the secretaries, under secretary, secretary, under secretary, all of them became civilians, and he alone was a military.
That was Omuni
channel at 34 years. So they were able to. So his ideologies, philosophies, political ideologies, they will deflate it, because they don't believe in the military ideologies. They don't believe in your friend is saying military philosophies. And today when now came and being injected, so Jerry at a point was confused as to what kind of governance. Was that civilian rule or military? So he went as a military leader for 11 uninterrupted years.
But then fully military.
That was not fully military. That was the problem, because there was an event, there was an incident when he was wearing military uniform, and his first European country that he visited, I stand to be corrected, but that is the case, was Paris. At that time, Mitterrand, the French president, that he had tried to visit the first time, because Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan have declared him a fugitive. They claim he's this, they were talking nonsense because of his friendship with Cuba, with Libya, and other countries of the East, call it the Eastern Bloc, the Communist Bloc. Until now they were madly against him. The first Western country Jerry Rawlings was visiting was France. And when he was going to France, all his people are no Mukonino. They were all wearing suits because they were no military. And he alone was wearing military uniform. But France is a democratic nation that was not tolerating accepting military leaders. So on the tarmac of Charles de Gaulle Airport, when the flight had landed and the Ghanaian delegation were coming out, there came Jerry with a military uniform or so diplomatically the French president did a U-turn around and gave him his back and asked his entourage. They move out from receiving the president. So what was it? He's wearing military uniform. So if he wants to enter and step Charles de Gaulle Airport and have a meeting with Mitterrand as the official visit was destined, he has to go, he has to change his uniform. They kept him on the aircraft and a suit and already shared the military boot. So you see, it's that kind of a situation. You understand? He was a bit torn in between whether to do the right thing or to do the military stuff. And then a man, when at a point he had a vice president, Aka. Now that time, that is when he moved into the civilian room. Now on say no, I can't handle him, and he's a vice president. No, you have to come and tone down to the military regime. And a man back house. You get it? Because during that time, those managers, the people that we've made mention, Roma were introduced to Roma, they became the grand NDC of today. I almost through that NDC Nabekasiano. Those people at that time, some of them were pretty much in their young age, but they're still older than Jerry. But because he was a military leader, they were afraid of him. So whatever that he tells them, they couldn't challenge. So they also form up their mind. Okay, the power, your leader, charismatic, Tiatiam, Kikem, but they also are there. So underground on the base, they meet as old school boys. They meet as civilians. They meet as scholars. They meet as graduates. And you're military leaders. So use your charisma, and then let us be at the back and work for you. Unfortunately, it tilts to a different balance. And then a Jerry, a problem or lead you through that. But then if you ask Jerry one-on-one, I remember 2 years, I have it on record somewhere. 2 years before and a year before, I myself and two friends have visited him, and Jerry was telling his story, how and why the Constitution of Ghana, the 1992, he didn't understand, he said it. He didn't know, he said it. He didn't read it. And if indeed he has read it, until call retirement and as free power after 8 years, and some Robert Tunu was here reading. But when he said certain never be room said the Tiana and one sign.
One sign. Go change no more.
Yes. But or say you did Constitution man, the person he gave and he trusted Jerry's own words. And I believe so I'm not the only person he has told this. NDC or whoever, or maybe Auntie, his Nana, his wife. My note said Jerry says the only person he trusted him was Dear Fanan. And he never stopped mentioning Dear Fanan. So when he told Dear Fanan to read, and Dear Fanan came to tell me, sir, and I say, if you are confirmed that everything so, I'll sign with my blood. I don't know the other one I was signing with the blood. But later he understood, said the 2 terms no return was the 4-term key. We didn't understand, say, no 2-term back, no more. And yes, I'm calling you. You would have allowed 1-term space and then come back, said they're not French for a year. The same to Europeans, and they haven't changed their own. Germans have not changed their own. France have not changed their own.
1 term new.
We try the 1 term new. Let's we need 2 terms new. 2-term key. That is how we call it. When you 2-term key now, Anka after President Kofor Ba 2000, no
office will be
open. 2004, no, and that is what he had thought. It was. You understand me? And Jerry, that was where I would say say the mess up kakra.
So do you think to say the Burkina president Asha say Jerry omu take you over no at that time na ye under military no and one sacking and crop for non fast civilians na mamua and idea now almost say okay omu person for mu omo de buy
yes
but now na ebian ka yakwe any match say
because that wouldn't have been the only military government on earth at the time. Cuba for years from Che Guevara and then Fidel Castro, military rulers. At the time of Jerry, Gaddafi was still in the Libyan army as a revolutionary leader. Look at the records of Muammar al-Gaddafi. Look at the records at the time of Fidel Castro. Look at the records of some of the good military leaders. A lot of them on the African continent were bombed. But then Jerry started Kipu like Traore is doing now. Look at the boys they do Traore. Most of them, those so for boys, some of them they can't even sign a signature. Most of them, and the coup, Damiba's coup, he is not the one who staged the coup. He is the one who was efficient and clever, a young captain who speaks good French, grammatically correct, and then some English also grammatically okay. So they asked him to lead and bring his charisma, though he was part and parcel of Okotu Kabore.
So more or less in Kayako said Jerry they are now according to Boachijan.
Yes, so we are now because now Boachijan no more from Shadan.
And Jerry there or charisma
no. Okay. Let's be frank. And now Osai Bruno, now Ghana for super Brunia Sem. Now no more what I say. Anti obelidi.
Okay.
What I say Tinka. Onu man a choir. And yes, the atrocities, and we condemn the murders, we condemn, but almost take it to the cleanliness. Are you getting me? Cleanliness alone of a country is a development. Clean city is also money and all that, because good number of investors buy fina a putting of money. During their time, why none a bit matter during their time, circle her. You remember the number 2, I've forgotten the name of the soldier. Selifu Amankwa. Selifu Amankwa stood at Kwame Nkrumah circle. Who dare even to spit at circle? But look at today, if you're talking about the most dirtiest place, it's the center city of the country, where Kwame Nkrumah circle. Where country in this African year modern day, our build such a bridge, call it overhead, fly over. And yet the attractive part of the city, I will be a Kwame Nkrumah second. Now my abodam for Atiki hostage. drug addicts atiki hostage under the bridge nko fire omumpet etwa omaye baller and nobody seems not to talk. Now excuse me but them no to aba but you say say ko saki wo mama nto aba ni we am go nyina no about 90% abodam
because of politics
and the other politics ni nyina kan o ma abodam to make decisions for us and it's just about that different forms. President Kufuor, for instance, he tried very well his first 4 years. Administratively, governance, finance, it wasn't bad. But you realize that in his second term, no, during his second term, Drew Baby, getting to the tail end of his second term, no, though he was wobbling a little bit. You understand? He was wobbling and he critiqued a little bit. His Excellency Nanado, we had more of the theories when he was in opposition, more of the promises when he was in opposition. To me, I'm saying, and I've always said that his government would have been one of the most successful if Nanado had listened to the people, the cry of Ghanaians, and did things right. Arguably, his party members.
Why are you saying that? Is it because now the whole country is behind Nanado?
The whole country had an expectation that Nanado was able, because they were able to deflate everything that, let's say, promotes excellencies. They did, and they were able to brand their government, the two governments, corruption, the lecture that followed up by His Excellency the former Vice President Baumia, corruption, incompetency, massaging economic figures. These were hammered in the minds of you and I for 8 years, for the 12th year. So everybody got and admitted that President Mama was incompetent. Everybody admitted that President Mama was corrupt. So that was the drive for the whole country to be behind their government. What did we see? But still, me, I'm not a party person, but NDC, MPP people will argue that it was but they themselves know that there is not the reception that that greeted them when they came to power. No? Midway, Ghanaians started complaining. 3 years in Nanado's government. 4th year election, he would have lost. The Ghanaians tried to give him a second chance. I don't ask and I don't say COVID was those kind of excuses.
Nanado as a person, maybe not Ghana 4% on continue, but we are rejected.
Well, but leadership by example. So say you're rejected. Who is the leader? You would see his government is the only government in Ghana in the history. I stand to be corrected, but that's the right thing. 1 year reshuffle for 8 years. When the man change, except woman resign here, it could be presidential research, and some very few be.
A lot of them still no more that, so no more at post.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know he had a chance. The COVID came to help him badly, as they claim they hit the economy. But COVID has money, funds, inflows post-COVID, and the things that you could use COVID to do. Excuses that we use COVID, taxes with COVID, etc. At the end of the day, all what we can say, or I can say, is that Nanado's government is the one we've seen, capital properties in the form of edifice, buildings, infrastructure, called buildings, private buildings, are springing. That one we say so in the time, the cantonments are better than ever. There are a lot of high scrapers. There are a lot of high quality buildings. It be on the time. But besides that, how far any affected and as impacted the pockets of the ordinary Ghanaians, that is where we are. So here we are, and another second chance to His Excellency the current president.
Very well.
So we must see how far it goes.
Live on top 103.1 final point and our Sungu so with you know. Me for Farouk Al-Wahab, international diplomatic consultant. I'm a friend, a man of many past, and I yedi and come up wahase about governance. I mean, won't mean take care away from him. He's very good, very deep all the sectors. And then Yababa share John Dramani Mahama 6 months into his administration. We're not going to talk much about an administration, but me per se umame 5 key point you wish John Mahama enye na wani beje pa and that will transform Oman Ghana. Yensha say 1 to 5. Senka wo ye na advisors ni bia.
Yes.
Then ka obema na ye.
If I were to be his advisor from the get-go, from day one, something say no when you went to make us a member like but say no idea me an advisor. I would have told the president his appointment he needed more of S-wise a Ghanaian diaspora.
Oh.
He needed an infusion of the Ghanaians outside who have the requisite expertise. I will not share there. They are making names, waves in different sectors and different countries, in different regions and other parts. If not anything at all, I can call out how many international organizations are Ghanaians in the head.
But you are saying this because of where you're coming from.
It's not where
diplomatic.
Yes.
We say
yes.
Maybe Ghana, we believe in campaign Norway.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But when they are campaigning also to come into presidency or into power, the same presidential candidates, and of course in this case Mr. President Mahama, they go to the diaspora, the Ghanaian community, meet them, they meet the Ghanaians, they introduce themselves. And you realize that these are not small boys, these are not small girls, big boys, big guys out there.
Connected. I
don't know how, excuse me, but with all due respect, a chain. Some of the appointees so therefore yes campaign now and that's okay. We are building a nation and sit them down. Yes, I'm not giving you this post. It's not your area. Where is the lobbying from? Your Ghana ni be or UK, Ghana ni be Holland. Your Ghanaian top class guys are only economists. The best efficient nation in economics, Holland tops all. Administration, Holland tops all. There are a lot of Ghanaian scholars in Holland. When Timan Faba Kukran Fanama, give them a sector and let's see. But then you rely only say, campaign or fine. You can put them for political expediency, political game. Do you understand? Cabinet go to municipal. If you're talking about politics, we do to district. You groom them from the because that is where the governor should sit. And think from municipal, from district, no one public administration, only civil administration, only public sector administration, no one the civil sector administration. Now only build that capacity now, and then you get the experienced ones and kakra. This had been a practice. Japan, they built in the country. Japan was poor at a point, but the only call for a refugee in the United States and other part post Second World War, they became the engineers and top class.
President Kufuor first administration or the Sanko for no bar more
or the only baba year wama omo ministerial post or the only year advisors special advisor.
Yeah.
But they met troubles because say when you're special advisor, there's letter that you advising me memfa, then have me. But if you had given them, I think President Kufuor would have wished to have done it a different way. He would have had one of the best government in Ghana. He wasn't bad, but it would have been one of the top. Some special advisors not the ban. He was smart enough to know say, men call for na me do moko ministerial appointments. Oma is sluggish. Oma try opposition 30 something years. Modernity of governance, modernity of administration, modernity of management, lack and then also or day and conforba number deputize to push. So if they were advisors, how many of them did they take the advice? They didn't take. So at the end of the day, all of them were frustrated. After 2-3 years, they went back. Because you don't expect somebody who is a lecturer, who is an expert, who is a scholar in Yale University, George Mason, Georgia Tech, and all that, Harvard. Now they never have we are. Now they never so on my advisor or advise it as a technical advisor. The minister seems to say, when any technicalities of governance, administration, no car party governance. I mean, how are winning next election. So they were not fitting into. Because women to me, party, the party in common, they don't get it. But that is what I expected. That His Excellency John Mama stayed back for 8 years. Would have studied or no, say no. Yes, may a mixture and a mixture of balance. So Mima diaspora for be as you may with competence. Now Owusu sono and for knowledge. Because policy advocates in any part of the world, it will be anywhere or your party person. The real party and policy advocates, Oko Germany, the what we call the think tanks. The think tanks for America, obi anywhere we need to say or your Democrat and I say or because the party comes into government, a case or say party manifesto. How do you run your party manifesto to run national affair, national development? Party manifesto cannot take intimate national affair, and you have a problem. And that is where and how you have problems, because Obia Alpha in the case of President Mama, Obina are party boys and girls. So if they are party boys and girls, when they meet, they talk about party. What does it mean? The manifesto of NPP, manifesto of NDC, the first three statements talks about how to strengthen the party, the grassroots, and for them to sustain power and win power. Indeed, that is the philosophy. It's not about develop Ghana and win power. Through what? Confidence. Through what? Goodwill. No. How the party can win power. It will be dream alike, and they all think same. So if you don't have, Obi or not dream different from them, Nanka we are building a nation. The likes of Korea. Korea that made Korea. Korea was poor. They were refugees in America and they built Korea. What about Turkey of today? Turkey refugees in Germany, Kreuzberg, Berlin, all over. They are refugees in Switzerland. They went there to build Turkey because they went to school. What about the Chinese? In the 90s. In the 90s, every Chinese you saw in Europe, mid-90s, early 2000 up to 2005, Chinese European European refugee. These people went back to their country, turned around within 10, 15 years, and they bought every hotel from Germans, every hotel in Europe. They were refugees. What did they? They came to study on my way. Now go to America, go to Washington D.C. area, go to Virginia, all over America. Best hospital be a the best doctor, the chief surgeon, or Chinese, no they or Korean, or no Korean, no Japanese and other people. Where and how?
How can we get there? Because they're all kind. What young fan say, yeah, you free croon kiton bet now crocase mono. And no more motima to kwano. Or mona, omunya kwa back they develop the country.
Yes.
What I say?
Yes.
The town, menkasa another the village.
Yes.
It is said the okay, yeah, per se and build your mind there. At least they were two kwaya. Wako stay ho, akwatna wa ye juma or what links or what connecting. You bring them down here. They are in to develop. The Omako who no person or mine and by way no John Dramani Mahama appointment, like you said, a trem. Going forward, if Obia why and I just obey do my way should be that is why I may bomb pass obey to my advisors. I'm one of them or more person and honestly whereby you na betty as let us develop a country, not a party. The country first.
But we will develop party.
Do you think you bet my side? Oh, crow is him.
No, it's too late.
We rather develop party.
Yeah, we develop party.
So a lot of Ghanaians think party first before the country.
It is always like that, whether we like it or not.
Hey.
The president may try, but he himself knows that the party will still prevail.
Okay, so second
one will be, I think, the Agric initiatives. 6 months, I think, is a bit too late. That is what I thought that the president. We have the fine policy and flow on paper, but we're talking about actualization. And we're talking about taking a takeoff. But what I say, our Greek minister, fine English, they will talk. Our Greek policy, theoretically, very beautiful. I think it's a bit too late. Or they have started late, if even they have started at all. 6 months into governance. Listen, this is how we do to any good nation. You don't need, you cannot, the country is not going to end today. Not today, not tomorrow. This country had lived, and it had lived maybe 5,000 years or 10,000 years. the country is still surviving. Therefore, who say what time to me now? If you have 4 years, just do 2-3. Jadiaka. Na ude jadiaka mianka so wabon wa ha. It's okay. So far agric. And also better health, because health we need it. And also better education, we there for 3. Keep and concentrate all your energies and synergies on the 3. Which one is the backbone of the economy? The agric side. And the same make sure agric ni here Juma. What is science and technology? It can wait. Fisheries, it can wait. Other things, because but looking at 8 years, you are doing only 4 years because you've done some before. Looking at the 4 years, say Okoko Kran Udia, you say India and Samia, and so and so government in. So what are you doing? So if you have to tackle food and youth food politics, say with their food, a food basket, I export to food. You will make money and make money. People will forget, because when there's an inflow, and now no many fears and they say you can have every nice policies on paper. Where is the wealth that you create, that you bring here? Where is your export? No matter how fine policies, no matter how that will reduce the dollar will still climb back over the period.
That is your belief.
It will climb in the future, in the long run, not as steep said they now MPP government in here, because of certain good policies that they've also initiated. However, every policy has its weaknesses at a point, because people amount for finding a way around it.
Loopholes.
Amount for already Chroma started, because today dollar issue 2 years. Because of what? There's a chase of dollar everywhere in all the banks. They will tell you the truth.
And the dollar also.
Dollar went to 12 point something today. Hey, forex. Why? Because those people now, you call them the black marketers. You know, when the dollar is going down, they've lost billions of money. They are not stupid. So what are they going to do? Any dollar be able to reduce our dollar system. They better dollar and film. They buy the dollar. They buy the dollar and wipe it off. Now they are selling the dollar to Nigeria. They buy the dollar and sell to Nigeria, because Nigeria ultimately, because the dollar is still the same, very high. So they bring them the cedis, the naira, and then they buy the dollar for them. And imagine, say you are pumping in your dollar needs, and also said you know, but when your dollar needs import, exporters, you know, and not importers, you know, so a market for your bedsheet in and Pabuani hair money is Agyemang. And should I big on the street of Accra? Only 3 cities in Ghana that use dollar. Accra, Kumasi, and some Takrade.
Maybe Takrade, yeah.
What I said, dollar circulation in Tamale wouldn't be $100,000 to 200 a day. Even Kumasi wouldn't be up to 1 million a day, because America, Dubai, Turkey, and a total dollar Accra. Accra fine how many and how much? How many people and how much do they buy? And if the government is making progress with the gold board and the inflow of about $1 million, $2 million even a week here, they don't need to go to the US Treasury and buy dollar to sell. We have enough dollar. That is why you see how they decline. But then, of course, when it gets to a certain point, all things being equal, other West African countries, BT, because they don't have that kind of resources coming in form of dollar. No? Certainly, so they are coming to buy the dollar. So you bring the dollar in, they buy. You bring the buy. Where do you go? Today, dollar shut up. So if the country has a corresponding economically viable export that brings income, that should have been what agric. So number 2, he hasn't done the agric. The first one is the appointment. The second one, agric. I think the president have to do a quick turnaround.
But after launching some agric in Nomobiyombe to say feed Ghana and what I say for, I think giving them another 6 months, end of this year.
Yes.
If you bear anything positive from that, we will see. After that, we can then talk about it.
Let me tell you something. Policies are designed to meet what? To meet benefits. Policy no designing is not bad, but the citizen also, or Ghanaian citizen, they also have a problem.
Yeah, the problem is
your problem now Greek no say obi obedo bi aba betre krom ha omo radio stations obi a journalist obi a betre krom ha a man young boys obi a online business or online trading we dey no call farm nyi into policies na initiating where what are we backing the policies with? If we are backing the policies saying say okay this municipality you are the $1 billion akoto agric mechanization, the government is leading the attack. Also, truly speaking, kwa free top radio dimika ko mamie krasi ko pa mamie sase akodobi because there's already an off taker. Who is the off taker? The government. Who kwa akodo? Then your trade minister should be up running now. Kasami will do Europe. Akope pineapple contract with the European Union. So look here, Holland, Brussels, Air France, these countries will move flight from European Union bloc. Makwa Magana, your pineapple so amamuwa. Trade balance, what do I say?
There's all balance trade, you know.
Yes.
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 Your airline.
And the KLM no, you better my flight no so no 2 times or 3 times a week. Also in the government because I'm body. I want you fly for 40 years in the air. First in the air, Ghana airspace. Wadawa hawajin sika in out. We need to break into their market. And what are we doing? And you can agree some who turn tomatoes because Europe or Ecuador or tomatoes and Kete or Mexico. What do they benefit from Mexicans as compared to Ghana? Yeah, more a lot of resources.
And this is what your friend is doing. Where your friends in Burkina Faso.
Exactly. Give and take. On the continent, okay, for technology. Yes, we are about better on Yama. Name of this is the deal. Better a bunch in the we are not doing it. So that is the second point that I feel that we may launch everything. We feed Ghana policy. For example, on
people when you see it, it sounded very beautiful.
There's no country. Nice. There's no country that writes.
Practical wine, no.
There's no country that writes better report than Ghana.
Ghana. Hey, sir.
Feasibility study. What can we do? Go for the rough.
Ghana.
Ghana chief directors.
Yeah, the boss is here.
Ochepa Masa. Bofukum. Okay, now third one.
Me ba yem ready nti. Yem na Matthias Mbi. I don't know if Obey answer me.
Yes, sir.
Matthias say woni wutim bi.
Yes.
Mo the proposal a refikasi say by crook or hook. Say yenya airline wo krom ha na ye adwuma. But enkrofo bi no so de bi kode. But as you say the president bedia tum no betimi apushi.
Yes.
This is minister word that wakoma so from day one.
Yes.
Not this president pay.
No.
Obi obaba bia you try your best. Mo be ko na man for so ye kra ya kofa bi ye kra ye say at the end of the day na jegu.
They can.
E do kra say what more present bibi sir.
I will not lie, but then I'm also a lead of a certain group that we try and say. Our mission is very simple. Ghana deserves better. Ghana is one of the biggest hub in terms of passenger in, passenger out, airport efficiency. The whole West Africa, we top all. Airport numbers, in terms of average, Nigeria numbers are high, but in terms of rapidity, any call it good aircraft and good companies, international companies, aircraft and landing her. So we are the likes of Emirates, we are the likes of 2 American different airlines. In Africa, how many countries, even except South Africa and Egypt, that you find 2 American aircraft, Delta and United or Mutiesi? That airport must be a trusted airport for Americans to do that. We will kill them on 2 muda. Summertime, we 10 times a week. British Airways, we 10 times a week. Who are Air Brussels? Who are Italia from Lighthouse or whatever, Italy, Air Italy. Omaba, Share Emirates or per flight in because then all other major airlines, including of course Ethiopia Airlines, Egypt Air, name them. Qatar or Binance, Qatar is full in, full out. So the hub is very flexible. Nevertheless, what do Ghanaians get out of all this? You don't have national airline and you need control over pricing of the ticket.
National airline. Does the country benefit from it?
Maybe, benefit. No, you benefit
that is
a
why
lot.
we are not serious.
It's only when you have a national airline and you allow a country like Ghana, state politicians. No, it's okay. And manage it, then you have a problem. Because most countries' national airlines, it is more or less a private company that the country has partnered with. So the country takes what is called the golden share. Ethiopia, a friend is a Kenya. Kenya is a Uhuru family, no there. But the country has taken over. You see it as Kenya Airways. But in your Kenya government in India, or partner with the government, and then they promote the country. That is one. Kenya Airways, how many air hostess in the Gusro? Ethiopia were about 4,000 flight attendants and air hostess and stewardess, include pilots. Should that industry inquire engaging in more than 10,000, 20,000? Look at the South Africa, Air Morocco, etc. All of them. Oh dear, we be sir. Oh dear, dispatch will be airport services in Ghanaians and Agyemang Brofon. One casa oh dear way. In the KLM or frame meeting on the British, on the Brazils, only when you open when they meet, I know my decides that I will take it, you know. Went so this summer. You have no choice. I know another fool. Amsterdam, another fool. KLM, their back. Meeting one could be. Oh, Baba. Do you understand me? And remember, no my unit price or hyper said you pay. Look at today. Delta Oba Accra from New Yorker. Bag, uto take it out. One bag of Crown. And to so person my bag at your promo too. O escalate ticket status. And son of my one bag. What's out of bag? Na Ghana nyo no ba omtimi de ba na we be a cousin baby on bag so na sardine na atitiato.
Yeah.
What do I say? Sardine obu a baby on bag na chamber port crash him. What do I say? Enti design your money na no ye ni control but so national airline who base airline pricing with the local currency.
So if we decide say now yes we say nya airline Oman beboka answer na yenya sade.
Oman Ghana government will never today tomorrow. They can do it but they can't benefit out of it, meaning say we cannot go there e besa be political.
No, my part say before I be fa ye discuss kese na be shemu answer na tomorrow ani ana.
Because a plane no you find chiche you lease. But we know the one that you ask me in perspective of them, we are private sector that is partnering, telling the government say we partner with you to run the national airline. My yenya Agyemang ma yenya na the aircraft but for aircraft ma.
Okay.
Don't bring anything of yours.
Okay.
And first kabia ma. We will rather work and give you. In that case, you know, me as a private man, I will make sure say me lose misika. In that case, me as a private man, I make sure say the employment and in the government you know benefits. I make sure say tickets I'll be able to compete. How on earth say KLM baha back to back? Na Ghana Airways in Timinku na Ghana Airlines in Timinku. How on earth say Turkish airline Obaha 7 days a week? We don't have one a flight also going there. In the aviation industry, the law that is how it's supposed to be. When you fly here, I should be able to fly there. So British Airways will be see Gatwick or if you Gatwick back Accra. Yes, you do free Accra be called Gatwick. Or if you hit through back Accra, be called hit through. You be called Düsseldorf. Well, if you Paris by you basic Paris, then we start the competition. And this Air France decided say, until you take it to I can get a local aircraft. It was a country be a one national airline piano. Only first were from why ours not? Because it will be. So you buy whether you like it or not, you cannot walk.
Are you all finding it difficult to get there?
Was it?
All finding it difficult.
Oh no, come on.
That Kwabena Ghana for in a fan paibo. Because you know how they lobby.
No. The lobbying, let it go on. But then we're talking about it's not just lobbying politically. If the country feels lobbying should be the way, that's fine. But then we are talking about all things being because exams exams here. Examiner sit down and mark. So we leave it in the hands of what? The government.
Are you going to use Ghana D and the airline?
It's a national airline that we are proposing to partner. We are bringing Seji plane if I run on national airline.
Do we have Ghanaians partner with maybe foreigners to do that?
The Ghana government will be a partner with the private sector. And we are bringing, if it happens, the top aircraft. yes, we can't be anything less than 787, etc. It can't be anything less than, if it is Airbuses. But we will go into Boeing, we bring Boeing. If it is Airbuses, it will be Airbuses. We will bring competitive because all by something for being sure, say Uncle Fo, British Airways. Then of course you're talking about the aircraft. You can't just bring any Kabu aircraft to be.
So definitely Ghana being fast also.
The country, if not anything at all. Do you know how much state buys ticket for officials? State officials include to on services, state office services. How much do you spend on ticket? And it's your national airline. Let's say Amsterdam, and I may call your friends in New York. Now New York, you're paying about $2,000 or $2,000 something only for economy. Let's say national airline maybe to Mama 1,004. Ethiopia, from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa to New York, it's about 14 hours flight. How much do Ethiopians pay? $900, 1,001. Ghanaians, 10 hours. We are closer to America. You go through the Atlantic, 6 hours, you climb. How much do we pay? We pay about 2,000 something. Ethiopia from 14 hours, we pay 900. Because of what? How much do Emirates pay from Emirates from Dubai to United States to cover that 14 hours? How much does Kenyans pay to go to America? The distance here in your proximity to America is closer than Ethiopia and East Africa, and then even the Middle East and the Far East. How much more do they pay? Why and are they able to pay lesser? About a distance, it's just across Brazil, and they will climb up. It's because
government jituna bibia yoka. How many years before Mortimer started Saudi?
We are looking at if we have the distance. By the end of the year, we should have a national line.
Hey, Farouk.
I'm saying that if all things
being equal,
it's not within my power. Yes, so what are you talking about?
Yeah, half of the year.
Baba,
end of the year, running.
It will be, say, I can say end of the year running now. End of the year would have been said, we would have set up. It's not now that we started this procedure of this proceedings. It is a Bianca ended by this time and a Bia who draw. Who knows? By the end of the year, I can say to start her, it means at least one set it up. Maybe ready to fly, no? It will be. You need about 8 hours. 8 months to 1 year to set up. It will be okay because don't forget your airport data will come. Now I feel now airline will be in the airport. The facilities are already existing. Majority is
Farouk.
Yes, boss.
Hey, Ghana for Farouk.
Oh no.
Your bumper say ebefa because also what bread.
Oh, me, you know me.
Oh, my titiana. Okay. I will come back and let Ghanaians know for more lobbying and say politically I'm for another because me the last first this president the first by him and Crawford say Sana Kufa person yet Ashanti airline no one for in idea who social media banina still and Crawford they are ready to do their work, government should let them do it.
What it is, what Ghanaians sees not to know. We've been reading newspaper, national airlines be our countries be, which I'm not to mention. How does you?
Yes.
How does a national airline be? Are you crazy?
It doesn't make sense.
What sense does it make? Because realistically, although they promote the airline, I be used to Ghana as a hub. Now, no, the small aircraft are big one, not the original flights.
I don't say to support.
Support. I don't think, sir. His Excellency, President Mama, understands the airline industry very well.
Ghana for no one command as my bonnie.
Yeah, I think so.
And situation on the Munti, never person may stretch. As a media won't tell.
Oh, no. What time now, soon? What time soon? There have been topics I went treaty.
Saka 3. Okay,
governance need see I 3, I 2. What does it? Okay, the third one.
But before the third, the main phone number into 0243 20 40 59. 0243 20 40 59. Munipa wawa has a Faruko ha. and if you support him and pray for him, na nani so ade hunu no intimate member under this administration 0244 and one started under this administration, previous administration and not all I'm fat
and yeah question cry
0244780701 0244780701 and a 0303944864 0303944864. Hello, good evening. Let's say
so Kasatu ACT Kukuasi Mayo. Patopi brother Pio Okate. Now some more can Japan answer the American video. When the vampire said the old piano and brim. Na among Peninsular system. You would give you some your can have it never. You would give you your can have it never. You have vampire, Dana, and vampire in a benefit. Mathematical.
That's a baby, Empire Bono no say. Oman penny we nkwa de oman aso nyemre wo ho na mwa ye 0243204059 0244780701. Hello, good evening. Let's say
good evening, Bokode.
Ya du mo na so e who ye kaka me wa na online no me ton kan say
I'm done. Can I very good at here? But my best at near Boroko, putting passengers from Ghana to other countries at the we are losing money. It will create employment. In your head in Pablo Papa Nigeria, I am a bomb. That was
say, my father. Hello, sir. My name is Kasafre. Justice, no peace. So pass it through. Hello, good evening. Let's say. Hello, good evening.
The governor.
Sir, we didn't be free.
Me didn't have been first back with
me for voice and I'm into it.
Governor Onyoga.
David. Oh, the Burma.
I do not know Onyoga. Come on, you why we do.
Me patch from Owusu. I am from my jetty.
Look why we own.
Mate. Mate.
Look why we own.
Mate.
No family, I know you. You mama play no piano. You know, when about it from any people, I never asked me. But governor, we're talking me solely about nobody president. No cover no Ghana by no piano.
Mpacho you, Yamishra was all bomb paya mammy.
Amen.
Oh, you are the
you.
Now, what's here? Surely now we're treating now. Hello, good evening.
Moko, dear, let us say, and you say, I don't have banning your fish to feed yourself, and also pushing backyard garden. Nanko, behind your fool, and the picture, and also behind your fool.
Chocolate, one a bit my backyard when you fear chocolate. A bio, it's like, hey, Ghana, I say, yeah, China. I mean, I was say, more bomb, and Farouk. Ese me de be 5 minutes na kan ma ma me fa microphone se o so do bo mo power se mo bomb e be fa na fa mama dwumanye so say do me no na ya che
we put journalists on board
it e fa mama dwumanye
ye mo na me pa ye
okay so madi ni so nye de be ya munyisu local nim de be tos mo de be free
no national airlines certainly must have something to do with the country name
come up there you catch it. You
can use Ghana.
I said Ghana is
Ghana is your defunct. What the bottle crack on Ghana is one budget. Above from budget. and second will say Lord Adeka Omsheda a come fast with the good flight.
But dini so am be so mu local name.
E bi ni saying.
Memenka.
There be ni saying. Because it's a national airline. We work of fine say in Zima Airways there will be problem. Okay, say ebia.
O say was symbols something like Edinkra.
Edinkra say nye obi ti voter on fair Edinkra ho. Obi ti Northern Regional. We using the country's name. That is the easiest out. Air Morocco, Kenya Airways, Air Ethiopia,
Ghana.
Yeah, Air Ghana, Ghana Airlines. What is it? Air Ghana, and those are the things. Open national airlines, you should have a balance. That has a representation of the OBI names and now Kokase, a Dinkra Airlines. Obiti
na said Dinkra Ghana's.
Na uti Ghana names are Dinkra. Obi oti Addis Ababa on Yevena Dinkra. We don't need to explain much. National airline comes with the national name. Air Cuba, Udu Airport, I say, oh, Air Australia, Air Austria, this, what is it? Sana Denati. Okay, so one of the things I think the president can make, and he said the third income earner would have said, Obi training, said again already in the endowed and very not bad. We are not performing bad in training nurses. Nurses exports is one of the biggest money out there in the world now. Most governments in the step in. Thailand, Philippines, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of countries in the world, Nepals, all these countries, Oma enter into training of nurses and exporting them. Post-COVID, Ama will be the usefulness of the health sector, and for that matter, doctors there, they are specialized, but the nurses also there, ultimately training more. You don't need longer years to train nurses comparatively. And to say, you say, country need more nurses. I am tifia, almost fighting for money for allowances to be paid. Yentimin postu. I've always said timelessly, say, International Labour ILO organization. Now they've allowed and made things very easy. So countries across the world, certain speciality will be new. Allow your country flexible, make your migration, relax your migration laws. And all over the countries in the world, advanced countries in why do we sit and have millions and thousands of nurses, healthcare professionals? Yeni baby I do moko. Omo mo hanzo so no time so no pension. What are we doing to them that we cannot? The Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Health, and the government put up a strategy, a scheme. Our best okay, healthcare professionals now yet train you, you go to train you, maybe no. We are now regulating and regularizing international labor. And in this case, it takes the ministers, the respective two, to go out there and look up for a proper working migration status. If you're able to do this simple thing, pressure on you, because any of them that steps out, you and I know, and we all know, say, a nurse in Ghana will not earn more than $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 cedis. These nurses out there will earn more than $2,000, $5,000 to some extent, depending on the shift or any overtime. It is a man of proper migration, and I will support to that migration. Now, you levy every nurse that the government sends out to a certain country, say the Philippines here, money to $300, or be economical and they be flexible, $200 out of their salary inflow for the government to also help to train, bro. Do you think say enti abeti achina ye nyabre ko
nke free ho
enti komo ko no
say cranes is called strike
obako so it becomes a recycling. So over 2 years when ko 2 years Philippine for them when ko kata 2 years ani a withdraw mu ni a defo for be replace kata ni a shift we ko Kuwait ni a withdraw mu ni a shift we ko Dubai ni a omu yasa. Now they go to Australia, they go to Canada, all over the world. And can't we structure something like that also to put? And we say what is going to happen? Your students, I'm sorry to say, but I will say, they will stop doing those funny courses. HR marketing, university be a training HR marketing. Westport where would you train? Production where would you train HR? Production where you train marketing? Where are they going to? Where do you train them to? So when you say our nursing, when you say there's an international legal migration, or betimako acquire 2 years or beba, or cyber application to go back, say the military, any army, or moko peacekeeping. This is what countries are doing all over the world. This is what countries are doing. It is kind of you can use that money also to establish and pay more of the faculties that is into nursing or medical sector. We better to pump more. And you see, said the students, most of them they will go in. Pastor, we've talked about this on your program. Look at the courses that our students are taking. And crying out born because they can't do anything. They can't independently think. But nursing is a practicality. Practical orientation. They don't need much. Ghana forgets. Mass in English University. How do they go to America and overnight? Why don't we train this? Even the primary nurses, the primary nursing aid. You can train nursing aid and dump them on America. Bilateral. You sit down, your foreign minister, your trade minister, all of it, let's say, labor, Brahmo, organize migration, labor migration. Every year, beyond 2,000 nannies. So we put up almost consultants, edit the elevation, the status, almost system. No? Then we train them. So we know, say, your man New Jersey, you know, say, your man this state, legalize. Uncle here table as in Uncle Dodgy train as and Fanko Rabbi or Yajuma. 2 years. Obey you. Yes, of course, a biba kem. But a bisuba pese, obey Juma, when yes, Kawaba, Wabahen Mame, Wabajina Home, 1 year when you say, Obesako, different country. So they love it so America 2 years. They love it so UK, love it say Australia, or better so New Zealand. Then you move them and ship them around. It is done everywhere. It's a mama. I mean, it doesn't cost much to introduce policies that are practically easy, and you don't throw in $1. You don't put in money. It's only consulting, facilitation, and agency work. Paperwork, okay. You don't spend anything. Yeah, go check your policies. Wait. Oh, massa.
Yeah, that's so by.
I want us to have a certain subject.
Okay.
Which I thought today maybe would have been one of them. The OSP red alerts.
OSP.
Red alerts.
Okay.
I think as a country, we're supposed to get ourselves abreast and understanding. We need education in this country over a lot of things that we feel say I'll call it distortions. People will start laughing, and I'm raising this issue because our friends outside, we have had the chance following what is happening in the media. It's done everywhere. Social media, platforms there are certain developments people in that profession I have a lot of friends who are part of Interpol around, and when they call and they ask me, say sometimes I feel very ashamed. You understand? Because like the whole country, we are a bit confused about how things are done practically, and we feel say we injecting either my friends illustrations and our politics, and I said I don't even get it. And that topic of what OSP vis-a-vis let's say Uforiata's issue is something today I would have wished that we treat that topic so for the public to understand. Maybe people do not get some of these impressions.
If even on phone I can give you 30 minutes or china for us to do that. Even on phone. You don't mind. We like say we want to let a country, we have to understand certain things because it appears Ghana ye nim niema. OSP no nim de oyana. Sana person wonka. doesn't understand what actually he did.
Let us not touch the subject that we can't complete. But what I'm saying is that we should be very careful when we are playing with certain kind of areas. We don't. I'm saying that we cannot sit and declare. We cannot. It's not right that we can declare people. We use Interpol. Interpol doesn't like that. We don't, no. Interpol doesn't work like that.
Was it the time Bakrum has say Interpol team do be about declare be wanted that Interpol team denaba.
Interpol people see it as Interpol. American or do be ba and also but you will be hakwa. Ya nenya American Interpol. America is exercising the extradition pact. Our Ghana war. Interpol is a different thing altogether. Interpol or no ankas only police who Ghana police service Interpol unit uniform show me blue green and Ghana uniform.
We have to treat this topic like you said.
People don't understand.
If you go to sir or TikTok you remember Interpol the waba
Interpol nya arrest Interpol on nya arrest
make I say number 1 copy mu Dubai okay so you the Interpol
but we are rubbish Interpol police
is it Attorney General Ghana's Attorney General Okra Sambaba
so according to the other
team do be by
yes actually said no people don't get it and I really want to devote my time and take the public through over such kind of sensitive issues because Interpol only uniform only police back who cry for Interpol police. You need Interpol police. So, you been Friday holiday. Oh yeah, they be 3 to 6. Friday, yeah, sorry, we go pay.
Sala, so we are near Airport.
Oh, sir, Kevin, bad.
3 to 6. Yes, Agyemang. Holidays. What check is a holidays? What are you time 3 to 6? And a year you pant, yen Friday.
A tip from Pacha, Alberto Air, top radio air conditioner say.
Last year, I
we don't care.
And I do yes, so some call. But who are missing this time?
Most service, right?
Obi Oba no be about home. But because
I mean, make it public happy. You'll be a program to touch your Kumabia, but you'll make condition back.
Yeah, that's a treasure from.
That's the same, Mr. Map. How I take it.
Akaka. Dwekpa. Top radio back kore.
And Yemen American, you Farouk and a can. The heat in a edge, man. A benny day. Moho don't it. We'll find Chay, Yami had much now. You bidding call. My staff thinking finger affairs. Now, you my dance. It's a hard work pace. One who your internet in the Yanima and 50 in a Mofanche. Why? In your home time. Heat in a year, sir. Who share your home for pa? Oh, yeah, nice guys. Who are that? Who made our home? Yeah, nice guys, brutal. In fact, I'm going to good night.